You're listening to the Behind Ears podcast, because everybody does Disney differently. The Behind Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. Hey everybody, it's Mr. Chris, and I gotta tell you about Expedition Roasters. Listen, I'm a pretty big coffee drinker, just like a lot of you are, but these people have got coffee right. Their coffees are made from selectively sourced premium and specialty grade Arabica beans. They provide the absolute best flavor and aroma, and select roasts even come directly from a single estate farm for a truly perfect cup that is never bitter. They've got awesome Disney-inspired flavors such as Roundhouse Roast, Route 66, Skipper's Brew, Dark Side Roast, Redhead Rum, and one of my favorites, Bobsledder's Brew. Listen, if you want to have the taste of Disney in every cup, give them a try today. ExpeditionRoasters.com, and Behind the Ears podcast listeners gets an extra 20% off your first order by using the coupon code EARS20. That's right, EARS20. And you can find them over at ExpeditionRoasters.com. Brew your happy place. If you have a little one and you're going to Walt Disney World, you're going to need a stroller. I'll tell you what, KingdomStrollers.com is the place where you want to look into. I'll tell you, I've destroyed my fair share of strollers while at Walt Disney World, and those things are not cheap. But getting something from KingdomStrollers.com, they'll be able to help you pick out the perfect stroller for you. And the nice part is that because they're a Disney preferred provider, they'll be able to drop it off and pick it up right from your Disney resort at no extra charge. So if you don't want to necessarily destroy your stroller in the process and you want to have a great Disney vacation with your little one, contact KingdomStrollers.com and they'll set you right up. That's KingdomStrollers.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Ears podcast. It is a sad day. It's a sad day because it's a feature Thursday. We're going to talk about food, and that's not the sad part. The sad part is who we have as a guest tonight. We reached out to another podcast, and we were like, hey, we'd love to have you on. And somehow we ended up with the redheaded stepchild of that podcast. Before I say hi to Chris, I'm going to introduce the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Rudy from the Crazy for Disney podcast. Sir, how are you?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Chris, how are you?
I'm doing fabulous, and I got to tell you, I've got a drink, I've got some snacks, and I'm just going to see what's going to happen.
Oh,
here.
Chris, I don't mean to interrupt you, but Rudy, real quick, before we start the show, I see a couple of people complaining in the comment section. There's a glare coming off your forehead. I don't know if we could fix the lighting or something.
I just explained to these guys that I actually moved the headphones so you can't see it. See? It actually covers up the glare. My natural glow.
Yeah, we'll call it that.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to go ahead and say that I was the one that invited Rudy to join us this evening. And I have a feeling I'm going to regret it, but I am going to enjoy every minute of this show. I really am. Because you know what? Just let everybody know right here at the beginning of the show, just consider this parody. Consider this humor. We are friends. We're all friends in this conversation. I'm just letting everybody know because I really don't want to see an iTunes comment saying, "Oh my gosh, you couldn't believe how they treated their guest." No, we treated Rudy. I mean, it's
not a guest.
I'm barely a guest.
It's like family. It's just one of those things. I mean, seriously, I'm doing great since you asked me the question, but then rudely interrupted me. I'll just leave it at that.
Just one quick thing before we get started here, Rudy. There are no pet rocks allowed on this show, so we're gonna need you to keep her hidden.
I actually left her upstairs, but I'd like you to go and you had a lot of nice things to say about me earlier today. Can we get you to go and read those off one more time?
Also, one time only thing. That's it. You're done for the year. We hit our quota. Maybe I'll give you a Merry Christmas. We'll see when the time comes how bah humbug I'm going to be.
That'll work.
So that everybody's doing well. Once again, thank everybody for joining us here on Behind the Ears podcast. Once again, if you're new to the show, thanks for joining us. We go live every Tuesday and Thursday at 9:45 p.m. Eastern. And if you are a regular and you're like, who is this other man in the big box? That is Mr. All right, say your last name so I don't butcher it.
You talking to me?
Yeah, no, I mean, I know Chris's last name.
It's Claire.
It is Claire. Okay, because when I said that to Chris the other day, he had me double guessing that it wasn't. But once again, this is Rudy Claire.
Yeah, everybody goes with Clar, but it is Claire.
I introduced you the first time as Clar. So Rudy Claire, and he is from the Crazy for Disney podcast. Check him out. They've got 1,000,001 pages, just Crazy for Everything podcast is what I'm saying. Or Crazy for Everything. Crazy for Disney. Crazy. But that's your main page, right? Crazy for Disney?
Yeah, the group page is the big one, Crazy for Disney.
Okay, perfect.
That's the only one I care about.
Yeah. So anybody else in those other groups, you know why there's no
the rest of it's just nonsense.
We're just padding numbers
like,
here.
what kind of nonsense do you want to see?
Yeah.
So,
sorry.
Again.
Some of the other groups, like, I just get talked into starting, like, the singles group and the Star Wars group, so I just appease people.
No, that's good, though. That's good.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to address one question before we start. What is up with my shirt? Because I know this is going to be an ongoing topic all night.
What's up with your hair?
My hair, that's always an ongoing topic. It was a cutoff T-shirt that I was working in around the house. I thought it'd be inappropriate to wear a cutoff T-shirt live on television. Well, monitors and, some people do watch us on their TV. So I threw a T-shirt underneath it, and that's what the weird shirt is. So let's deal with it and move forward. So, Rudy, you just got back from the happiest place on earth, and I think what is the happiest time to visit Disney, and that is wine and dine. Walk us through. You went on a solo trip. Walk us through what your trip was like. Start from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a million different trips, and I've never done one in my life solo. So I left the kids at home. I left the wife at home. And what I did is just try to experience a lot of stuff that I haven't done with them. So we did a VIP pass thing for Toy Story Land. I tried to do the 49 ride challenge, which almost killed me.
How far did you get? I have to ask, how far did you actually get?
I got 33 rides in.
Wow.
How many?
33.
That's still a good accomplishment.
That's very good.
Basically what happened was I got to Epcot, and I was going to finish in Magic Kingdom. When I got to Epcot, I fell 2 rides short, and I just said the hell with it and just cut it short altogether.
What rides did you miss in Epcot?
Test Track and Mission Space.
See, Test Track I think would have been all right because you could have done the single rider line and flew on there.
Yeah, what the problem was, I had a little bit of bad planning, is they had extra magic hours that night. So when I showed back up at the park at like 5, it was packed. So I just ran out of time.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it happens.
I mean, we know it's doable. It also depends on crowd control. And once again, it's going to come down to planning. And that was what you obviously lacked, is what you said.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I don't know how anybody does it, because I had a lot of little inside sources. I had cast members that helped me out, a few extra fast passes, and still 33. So I don't know how anybody can do 49.
Yeah. So let's talk about the real topic here, and that's wine and food festival here. I'm going to start with a question. Is there any food item that stood out to you?
Well, you know me. I'm simple. I don't do anything special.
There was some like cheese hot dog from somewhere that you enjoyed.
Well, it wasn't that simple. I love the filet from Canada.
Oh,
and then you gotta get the cheddar cheese soup with the.
So good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the one other thing that I tried that was different was the beef stroganoff with the mini noodles. That was awesome.
Okay.
Ooh, where was that?
Yeah.
Where was that, over in Germany by chance?
No, that's actually over by the cheese and wine area when you first walk in.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, on the right there. Okay.
Boy,
that was amazing.
Is there an item that happened to just hit your taste buds and you were like, nope, not doing it?
I'm not I don't go around like just trying stuff, so I keep it pretty simple. So everything was actually, I shouldn't say that. They moved the cronut from the refreshment port over near Test Track, and that thing is disgusting now.
Really? So the location switch changed it?
Yeah, well, the building they have it now is air conditioned, so I'm assuming they cook it the night before, and it comes out to you cold, and it's greasy and cold and just nasty.
Oh, that's a shame.
No,
yeah,
it has to be.
Shame.
It has to be warm. The ice cream has to melt. It has to become a sloppy mess. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, so, it was all bad.
I like the cronut, but I don't know. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I feel like those donuts outside of Space Mountain, right over by Buzz Lightyear, where the Joffrey's is, those giant donuts, I always found them to be really good. And people say they're the same exact donuts that are at the other Joffrey's, which I would assume would be that, outside of Tower of Terror. To me, they taste totally different.
They look awful. But I would expect nothing less from you.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll take that. I deserve that. He wins that one. No comeback. I didn't have anything ready for it. I'm not going to lie.
Cousin Danny with his old moldy donuts. I'd expect nothing less.
I'm surprised you like that basic food, so I thought you'd be all over that.
Yeah. I have some taste.
How much Starbucks coffee did you drink down there?
I don't do any coffee. I've never had coffee in my life. I do a lot of the Joffrey's drinks, though.
Oh, the frozen drinks? They are real good, yeah.
Yeah, and I always get the double shot. I couldn't talk them into triple shots, though, so I guess that's not a thing.
Of espresso?
No, of booze. They do vodka in those drinks. Yeah.
I was
Come on,
Danny. You've never had coffee, but you've had espresso. Okay, I guess,
Yeah.
heavy stuff, but no, you really
wait.
Heavy stuff.
TV timeout. Where in the world could you get a Joffrey's drink with a shot or two?
Oh, all those Joffrey stands.
They have booze there?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, including the Magic Kingdom?
No, of course the Magic Kingdom.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm like, how in the heck fire did people miss this? Have people been doing that and like not been very quiet about it, only so that it wouldn't like go away? That's what I'm thinking.
I wish.
Shocked.
Yeah, I mean, not only do they have drinks, but they have specialty drinks at each one. So they have like a fireball drink, a vodka drink, and they are amazing.
Wow!
I'm gonna say I've never known that, and I can picture a really good drink with like a little bit of fireball in it,
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, when my wife and kids are with me, I mean, Joffrey's is a must. I got to mellow out just to deal with them.
I'm thinking your kids and your wife need to drink a little bit more to deal with you.
Oh my gosh, that's
a good possibility.
That's the truth. That's not a possibility. That's why you're on the show and she's not.
No, she's there because she's there now, isn't she?
She is upstairs ignoring me right now. Oh no, as far as Florida?
Oh, I thought she was in Florida.
She just returned last night. We do vacations separately now, I guess.
I was gonna say, is that like a thing?
Yeah, I got back Sunday, and Monday morning she flew out.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the way you keep a marriage strong.
I could see that. Oh, that's right. There's the Bally's inside the hot chocolate over by MGM. Right out front. I've had that. That's good.
Oh, now I know where you're talking about. Oh, yeah.
They also make a really good Bailey's and hot chocolate during the Christmas Tree Festival at Disney Springs as well. They have some Grey Goose drinks over there too.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Grey Goose.
Wait,
no,
Grey Goose and
like vodka. Well,
no, I know what a Grey Goose is.
Oh, I don't know what they had. They had some like mango rush drink type of thing.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, please tell me that it wasn't like a Joffrey's coffee-ish type of drink that had Grey Goose.
Well, they do have. Rudy was saying there is some type of Joffrey's drink with.
They have a number of frozen drinks. They have one it's called the Tiki Torch, which is my favorite, and they have one called the Grey Goose, which is like a berry one. They're all really good.
Right. I'm saying I couldn't picture chocolate and vodka or coffee and vodka is what I'm trying to say. I just, for some reason, that doesn't seem like it would float.
I could put vodka in anything.
Yeah,
I know you can put vodka in everything. Whether or not it's good or not, it's another story.
Dairy, I wouldn't really. But I mean, I don't know, what's in the Captain? You ever have the cinnamon toast crunch shots?
No.
Have one next time you're. You know who makes a real good one? I mean, they're pricey, but welcome to Disney. When you're up in Poly, the lounge up there, over by where you can get the so stupid drinks, the girls go crazy.
Lapu Lapu.
Yeah,
that's my drink.
Oh, of course, you are such a basic.
He calls it a girl's drink.
You are such a lady. Our demographic's gonna love you, so here we go. I'm stealing all our fans. At that bar, they make a really good cinnamon toast crunch shot.
That's probably why I never had it, because I have to get a Lapu Lapu every time I'm there.
Do you really?
Yeah, I mean, you're drinking out of a pineapple and you've got an umbrella?
Disgusting. It gets slimy and wet and sticky, and like then you're just stuck holding this giant pineapple.
Well, you know that cousin Danny's used to sticky and slimy, so I'm surprised it's not his favorite.
So Danny, we're gonna have to We're coming close to having to click that explicit tag on the iTunes. Very close to it. I'm just letting you know.
We may like to thread that needle.
Yeah,
don't eat the pineapple like an apple. We have a listener who decided to eat that. She cut her mouth wide open. I was there. Yeah, that was Jess, by the way.
I was gonna say the only I'm like, wait. She tried to eat a pineapple like an apple.
Yeah, she just bit into it.
No,
and Nick literally ripped this thing open and was just sitting on a bench, just sticky from head to toe, eating this pineapple. Not a care in the world, and the man is like 6'4", burly, and he makes
me look small. He makes both of us look small.
You're right. I apologize. Let me rephrase the story. She's right. It was Nick, and what happened was Nick cut the inside of his lip. Like right where your two lips meet.
Yeah.
He kept from eating it. He kept cutting it and kept eating it. But the problem is all that juice kept going into the open cup. He did it though.
Yeah, that can't be good.
I'm God just crap. Next topic, please.
So you now. We'll get back to the whole food and your trip and everything. But talk to me about where you stayed. Tell everybody about it because I was looking at some of the pictures and it looked great.
It's a little different.
Yeah, it's actually off property. It's right near the ESPN zone. It's called Vacation Village at Parkway. And I know people love the Disney bubble. And a lot of people say they love it because of the transportation. Let's be honest. Disney transportation is awful. You wait for it. You stand for it. It's just bad. So my resort has free transportation, which is always very mellow. The rooms are gigantic, which I love a big room as compared to last time we stayed at Art of Animation. I think I had to turn sideways to get between the bed and the dresser. So I'm a big fan of staying off property.
Okay. You had like a 1-bedroom suite or something like that, it looked like, right?
Yeah, let's just go ahead.
It's like 2 full apartments because there's actually another full side altogether from what you saw.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, hot tub in the bedroom, the whole bit.
Now, do you need to be a member there? Do you have to buy like timeshare points? How does this work?
I own the timeshare, but you can actually get it off Expedia or anything else. It's like $100 a night.
Oh, wow. That's a really good deal.
Yeah, it's cheap.
They hit you for parking?
No charge for parking.
And is there a shuttle?
There is a shuttle both for Disney and for that other place. Can we mention that? Can we mention Universal?
Yeah, we can mention them. They're all right.
I swung by there for the first time in like 25 years on this trip, too.
How'd you like it? What'd you think?
I only went to City Walk, and initially, like, kind of going through it, I was really impressed with it. It felt like more adult and
way more
kind
adult.
of like upscale. But I was surprised on like how small it was. Like, you're immediately around the whole thing in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about it is it connects both their parks, and when you stay at the one hotel, the pathway from that hotel to the parks lead you right into City Walk. So literally, City Walk is essentially the hub. It's like our TTC if everything was closer. But there's
it's a very
so much
cool
to
setup.
do. I give them credit for that. It's a really cool setup. But like you said, you literally, in a blink of an eye, you've walked that entire thing, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, that was the one thing that surprised me. I mean, they have a lot of cool restaurants. It didn't seem like a ton of shops, but I mean, it was just over in like 5 minutes.
How far away is that from any of the parks?
The City Walk?
No, the place you stayed at.
It's a 6-minute drive to Hollywood and about an 8-minute drive to Epcot. So it's really close.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, from my front door to the Hollywood parking lot was 6 minutes.
That's an easy Uber too. That's like a $10 Uber.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared of Ubers though. They hire some shady people. If you have any listeners that work for Uber,
yeah, we do.
As Chris is just typing away.
Yeah,
I've had some death rides on those things.
You know, the thing is, so last year was the first time I ever took an Uber. And to be fair, and I had to take an Uber. I do like Disney transportation. I use it a lot, and I use it pretty much exclusively. But last year, I learned the benefit of using Uber, and because I needed to go from Animal Kingdom Lodge to Saratoga Springs, and I had to go there really early in the morning. There really wasn't a good way to get there because you really couldn't transfer from Disney Springs or anything else like that. So we did our first Uber, and to be very honest, it wasn't all that bad. I mean, it was actually really pretty good. My only real problem of it is that, you don't necessarily know what kind of car you're going to get, so to speak. And being a big guy, I had to wedge myself into a backseat of a Toyota Corolla.
Why did you sit in the front, might I ask?
Why didn't I? Because I was with Kathy, and I wasn't going to let her sit by herself.
I mean, you were in the same car, though, right?
Yeah, but hey, I'm with my wife, man. What can I tell you? I want to sit by my wife. She's a lot cuter than the guy that was driving, So anyway,
fair enough.
But that was the thing, and I felt
a lady in the trunk.
Well, I didn't really want to. I didn't want to sit in the front seat. I didn't want to be
next to this person.
Maybe I felt like it was more like a cab. You sit in the back, and
No, I mean, I usually get in all the time by myself. Like, I'll go right in the back seat.
Yeah,
because that driver doesn't want him in the front seat.
No, God, no, you don't want to sit next to him.
But no, I mean, I liked it. It wasn't bad, and to tell you the truth, I mean, between that, I've done minivans in the past. Probably won't really do that again in the future for quite some time, unless they figure that one out. But even my son and I have done an Uber before, and I've had some good experiences, even late at night, which when you kind of, in my opinion, feel like you have to be more concerned about things. But I've never had a problem.
I actually had one bad experience, and it was totally my fault. I'm very organized, so like when I call for Uber, I want to have the whole family ready to go and like be waiting there for the guy to show up. And it said on the app that it was a white Toyota Corolla. So I'm out by the street waiting for the guy. A white Toyota Corolla shows up. I run out. I whip open a door, and it wasn't the Uber driver. It was somebody else. He thought it was like carjacking him or something.
Oops.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I could see where that I could see where that would be a problem. And here I am. I'm like, it was like the one car was a black Toyota Corolla. Well, that's pretty common car, pretty common. So I actually, it has the license plate. I actually went to the back. I checked the license plate. I'm like, are you so and so? Oh yes, hi, I'm Chris. Hey, okay, hey. But yeah.
I just went and jumped right in.
Well, I'm not going to put you on blast. I know where you live. You guys don't really have a lot of like taxis up by you, I guess, then, right?
No, we have a ton of taxis. Uber is very new in this area, though. But taxis have been around. I live in New York. Of course we have taxis.
But you live in upstate, though.
In Albany. It's the capital. What do you think? We all drive around on bicycles and horses?
Yeah. I've been to upstate New York too many times in my life.
Hitchhiking around all over the place.
You guys are still a couple centuries behind us. So that's why I'm surprised you don't like Uber. I mean, so you claim it's a fear thing, but I mean, what a standard yellow taxi is, and those drivers, I mean, you literally put your life in your own hands.
Oh my gosh. Don't do it in Chicago, man. Seriously. They don't know how to state one. I'm sorry, but it's like if you can get someone that actually speaks English, that's great. But then seriously, I don't know. Okay. The Ford Crown Victoria has got to be the most durable vehicle in the world because they do 0 to 60 sprints every stinking traffic light. It's as simple as that. It's just they know only 2 speeds: slam on the brakes and full on the gas in Chicago.
I guess my biggest issue with like Uber and taxis is the drivers aren't always 100% honest with you. Like when you get in, I'll be like, I'm staying at Vacation Village. It's right on 192. Do you know where it is? And every single one of them, like swearing up and down, oh, yeah, I know where it is. And 90% of them don't know where it is, and you got to give them directions. So yeah, I do have issues with that as well.
Well, I thought Uber's like they have like a little GPS type of thing on their phones that they,
I think that's just every driver just using their phone as a GPS. I don't think Uber gives them. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you would think though they would know where things are, but I guess it's so populated out there. There's probably. I mean, we know there's so many hotels. That's why I'm a big fan of renting my own car and just doing my own thing.
That's what we do now. I mean, I've never had a car down there in my life until last year, and now I'll never do anything different. We're
like twins. Last year was the first year I ever had a car down there.
Yeah, I fell in love
with it. But the thing is I need. Hate you. Without the AP though, then you're stuck. Like for listeners who don't have annual passes, that's where it can get real costly because you're paying for parking.
It's another $22 a day.
Yeah, that's on top of the car rental fee.
And that's got to add up.
Yeah, that adds up real quickly when you could literally just Uber and just call it a day, or, spend the extra couple shekels and stay on property. But, staying off property where you say, let's call it $125. I mean, first of all, you're going to be lucky if you can get a value at that point. And a value is further than 8 minutes to Magic Kingdom, plus the time you got to wait for a bus. And we all know how the debacle that is.
Yeah, I mean, Chris says he's a big fan of the buses. I mean, you've been there like at closing before where you've got to wait for like 4 different buses to show up and you wind up standing up and you're exhausted. You've dealt with that before, right?
Well, yeah, I've dealt with that. But here's the thing. Usually around those particular times, we take our time getting out of the parks. We don't usually make that mad dash for it. Like, especially at Epcot, that's the time when we go into mouse gear and, do some shopping for another half hour, 45 minutes. And usually what happens is by the time we get to our bus stop, the line is either nothing or next to nothing. And we may have to wait another 10 minutes for a bus, but we're not rushed. We're relaxed. We take our time. And that's just the way we do Disney. The thing is that even the monorail, you try to get out of Epcot and, if you're on a monorail line type of thing and you want to take it back, or if you've parked at the TTC for some reason, you're waiting 15, 20 minutes in line easy for monorails. And, just take your time getting out of the parks. I mean, after the last, after like the fireworks or after illuminations or, whatever, just relax. They're not going to kick you out. Disney says, buses run until 45 minutes after park opening. Buses run until everybody's out.
Yeah, they're not going to leave you stranded.
They're not. There was a time my daughter and I still like to do this. We like to go after illuminations. We'll wait around for 15, 20 minutes, and we'll actually walk around World Showcase taking pictures at night. And there was one time, illumination starts at 9, it ends at, 9:15. We didn't catch a bus, or we didn't actually leave. We actually didn't get out of the park until 10:30, 10:40, and we caught a bus at 10:50, got back to the resort just a shade after 11. And, but it was what we wanted to do. And, so we used that time that normally people would be sitting waiting for a bus. We used it to our advantage. We enjoyed some extra park time and had fun with it.
Yeah, that's got to be the personality, though, because once I know that park's closed, I'm like, okay, I want to go to sleep now. Like, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I totally get it.
My internal clock is like, all right, bro, go to sleep.
You and my son are very much alike. It's like, okay, after a certain point, it's like, yeah, okay, fine, time to go home, time to get a drink and go to bed.
That's why I started taking naps in the middle of the afternoon. It's not even necessarily, I call it naps, not even necessarily actually going to sleep. Just laying down, putting the TV, and just decompressing for an hour or two. Because, you're walking several miles. Listen, I'm not the lightest man in the world. I'm a big guy. I sweat like a madman. And and this is going to sound terrible. I love all of you, but I hate people at the same time. And I just want to be like, okay, everybody leave me alone for a little while. I got to go hide, and especially with social media now, especially when people know that we're in the parks. It's not that they want to come, see you. It's not that or anything like that, but they expect content. And I feel bad if I'm not giving them content. But there's a lot of times I'm just like, I look at my phone, I'm like, I don't want to do this right now. Like, I just want to sit on this bench with a Joffrey's and laugh at the people who are just slamming their Great American Speedway cars into the rails. And that's my day,
I'll tell you, I did spend a lot of time on this vacation just people watching and just see what goes on around the park. And it did make me dislike people a little bit. Just the park etiquette that goes on around there is just ridiculous. And I kind of went on a rant about it the other night. And even with the buses, the amount of men that don't give up their seats to a woman or a child, drives me crazy.
Amen, brother. We've talked about this before, and you see stuff like that, and it really does kind of drive you nuts. Outside of that, I have to ask though, outside of the, providing seats for, moms and young children, what were some of the stupid guest tricks that you saw? I have to ask, and I'm not asking. I'm not asking to start a controversy or anything. I want to see if what you see is what I see, what Danny sees, type of thing.
The one that bugged me the most is I went to Danny's favorite restaurant, Casey's, and I grabbed my hot dog. I went out, and you know what it's like. You can't find seating on the inside, and to get seating on the outside, you'd be lucky.
Yeah.
I get outside, and there's one table that's open, and it's got garbage, like, piled on it. So some family actually ate and just left, like, and I'm talking, like, ketchup packets laying on the actual table itself. So I went over, making sure nobody was there. And sure enough, some family just left it like that. So, I mean, that's like a huge pet peeve of mine.
I paid a lot of money for my hot dog. You clean up my table.
And that's exactly what it is. It's like this self-entitlement. Like, I spent money on a vacation. Take care of me.
I spent a lot of money to be in Disney. They should clean up after me.
And even like if, like at one point I sat over by the mine train and just sat on the wall and had a pretzel. And the amount of people, they'll just have a pretzel and then just leave the wrapper there and take off. It's like, there's a garbage can 2 feet from you. Don't throw the damn thing away.
Like, and I always try in the back of my mind, be like, okay, accidents happen. Trust me, there's been plenty of times I've had a soda talking to somebody. I put it down, I'm turning, and we're like, okay, let's go. And I get up and I leave it. It happens. We're all human. But when you see it nonstop, I start to be like, okay, this is not by accident.
When you have a whole group of people that
leaving
stuff. I mean, that's not an accident, because we've all done it. We've all made faux pas to it, and I think once we realized, we're like, oh crap, I was that guy. Type of thing.
I've got a good one. Now, this does not pertain to either one of you, and judging by the conversation I've had with a lot of our listeners, this doesn't pertain to a lot of them, but I'm a smoker. And my favorite smoking section is over by the train. Well, we're basically where they're building Tron right now.
I think that's been moved.
It has been moved. It just moved up further, which I think is going to be a major debacle because that's a huge smoking area they had. It was in the shade. Now they put you in the sun, and when the wind blows, that's going to blow it right into the Space Mountain gift shop.
Well, I'll let you know that they are not enforcing it. People were still smoking in that area.
But in their defense at times, that smoking section has been there for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
So that's been a staple. So a lot of people might not realize it. What I hate the most is I'll be watching people, and they're just smoking away, minding their own business, doing their thing. And there are 9 trash cans in that little S. And I know there's 9 of them. The little S spot right there. No, they don't use the ashtray on top. The 2 things they do, they'll drop it on the ground and step on it, or they flick it over the railroad track. And I literally want to throw them over the rail. Like, go get that. What are you doing? Like, oh God, I hate you people. Just put it in the trash can.
There is so much wildlife all across the parks, and we know that ducks and everything else, they will pick at almost anything. So it's like, I get irritated at that too. It's like, you know what? You're going to kill an animal with your nicotine laden butt. Yeah. So and granted, Danny, I've hung out with you at the parks. You're probably the most considerate smoker that I've seen. I don't like smoking. I don't smoke. I only smoke when I'm set on fire. And believe me, that actually happens once in a while. Trust me, there's friends of mine that can attest to that. But the fact of the matter is, at least you're not rude about it. You try to be a considerate smoking guest. I'll give you that.
I'm not stupid. I know cigarettes are terrible for me. I know they're terrible for everybody else. So is soda. So is junk food. I don't criticize how anybody else lives their life. You do you. I've got my own family. I've got my own old lady who hounds me every time I light up a cigarette.
See, Rudy, this is what I have to deal with.
His old lady.
Yeah.
She's like 3 years younger than me too. But it's okay. We're gonna leave it at that. But she yells at me all the time. But I try to be considerate. But on the side note, if you walk through a smoking section, you're not always going to get people like me that will move, a cigarette out of the way or make sure I don't blow it in a direction of people walking through. I've had people walk through with their kids and they get huffy and puffy with us. And I'm like, well,
no, that you can't. It's like
this you're in that area,
All I have to say is that if you're not in a smoking section and you're smoking and you go past my daughter, she's going to give an earful. I swear, my daughter may be small, she may be petite. Holy crap, will she just give you an earful?
But see, that's what I don't understand. How is that fair if she was walking in a smoking section?
No, not when she's in a smoking section. Not in a smoking section.
Oh, not in it. I was going to say, I was like, okay. Oh, you didn't
No,
know.
you're right. If we come into a smoking section, all bets are off. In fact, one time, where was it? It was over by Splash Mountain, not Splash Mountain, Thunder Mountain. And there was like that nice little covered area, had the rocking chairs and stuff like that. I didn't realize it was a smoking section. And nobody else was there. And I sat down. I was on the rocking chair. I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice. And all of a sudden, people started coming over and they started lighting up. I'm like, oh, I'm in the smoking section. Allow me to remove myself from the situation because they are being courteous to other guests by being in the smoking section. I will go and find myself another place to sit down just because I didn't want to be around it. No offense to any smokers.
Disney has an epidemic with their smoking right now because they're not giving the smokers enough of an area. And then the areas that they're giving them are so poorly planned. They used to have a smoking section, the 3 benches right outside the carousel at Disney Springs where the bathrooms are. How do you have a smoking section 3 feet where people have to walk through your smoking section to go to the bathroom? Like that's a poor job. Even the one, and it's not their fault, but it happened to be the one over by Thunder Mountain. The problem is that one gets so filled up and everybody's looking for shade that it tends to get closer to Thunder Mountain. So when people are getting off of Thunder Mountain, they're now walking through, the smoke. And now with this day and age, you can see even like Enrique switch to vape because now you walk to the park and people vape everywhere. And technically you're not supposed to.
No, technically you're not supposed to. Vaping is,
I saw somebody on Splash Mountain vaping.
On Splash Mountain?
Yeah, it was blatantly too. It was ridiculous.
Okay, yeah, I can't lie.
It's very clear though. It's very clear according to the rules that, Disney considers vaping the same as smoking and same rules apply.
To be fair, I vaped for a little while. And what I would do is, you can ask Jess, we were standing in line for Frozen and we were in it for over an hour at this point. I was like, I'm a nicotine fiend. I wanted, my nicotine. So what I would do is I would take under my shirt and I would, do my vape. And then what I would do is I would just go like this and I would blow like underneath my shirt. But then the minute I took my head out, I would just be oozing smoke.
He's a large child.
That's got to be that's got to be the weirdest looking thing. It's like, dude, are you on fire? It's like, what?
Yeah, I mean, once again, Jessica always likes to bring this one up. I was so far the only person to ever run a Disney 5K and found the smoking section in Epcot. True story.
In a tutu.
Only Danny.
In a tutu. Only me. But let's get back to the real point. Enough on the smoking. All right, so you missed Test Track and you missed Mission Space from Epcot?
Yes.
What did you miss from the other parks? Animal Kingdom, did you miss anything?
No, I had Animal Kingdom done. I had Hollywood done, and I was going back to Magic Kingdom to finish them off. I would have finished off the rest of them. But just at that point, when you miss 2, you might as well just say, I'm done.
Okay.
The other issue was it was probably close to 100 degrees and super humid. So it almost killed me. I spent like 5 minutes in my car at Epcot, like talking to myself, like, it's really worth it.
Rudy, you could do this. He's just smacking himself. Get up, Rudy. You got this, Rudy.
It was so bad. I mean, I had to get to Magic Kingdom first thing in the morning because they consider the Main Street cars a ride, which I think is ridiculous. So you have to be there before rope drop to get on those. And I'm standing at rope drop at 8:30 in the morning, and the sweat is literally like running down. And I'm not like Danny. I don't sweat a ton. And it was running down my back like a river. So physically, it was a real rough day as well.
Oh, yeah. 63 degrees. I'm like drenched. You would think I just like jumped out of a pool.
Yeah, this was bad. You would have died.
Rudy, did you get someone's Etsy store shut down?
Did I? What'd I do?
Oh, sorry. Keep rolling. Keep rolling. I apologize. I didn't read the full comment. No, keep rolling.
I mean, I might have. Who knows what I do?
Oh, I wanted to ask you, how was the cutting board?
Oh,
He has it right there.
Oh, it is a decent size though.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's about the size of your hand.
Guy.
Oh, you know what? Maybe the way you held it. Now they put your hand up. Yeah, that's tiny.
Look how big it is. Yeah, it's actually
wow.
very small. It's just it's something I'm going to hang up or something. It's definitely not a cutting board.
Okay. What are you just cutting like limes and everything?
I guess you could put one of those little Baby Bell cheeses on there. Maybe that's what it's intended for. It's super small.
Listen, I have a cutting board that's pretty much exactly the same thing, except it's engraved. My daughter and son-in-law to be gave it to Kathy and I for an anniversary present. Let's put it this way. It's nice to cut up and serve you, a friend, another friend, a little bit of cheese, a little bit of sausage. It's not huge. You're not going to be making dinner with it or anything like that.
Right.
It's cute. It's a knick-knack, so to speak.
It's like Mary said, it's a bar board.
The bar board. That's a great.
Let's be honest though.
Yeah.
If it was full size, nobody was going to use it anyway. It's something you brought back from the parks.
Yeah, listen, I think that was actually a really cool idea. I mean, I know they're still doing it, but what do you do with these magnets?
I don't put them in the back of my car because they'll go away.
See, now I had the original one on the back of my car for 2 years. Lasted great, and then one day it was just started peeling away, and that was the end of it. And I've got this one, the Christmas one. I just throw them up on a piece of metal somewhere in the house and just call it a day. I would much rather a cutting board, small or not, it's still going to serve a bigger purpose in my life than just this.
Well, I mean, I think we discussed this before when I was on the show. As a pass holder, I don't expect anything. So anything you give me extra, I'm super thrilled about. Then you have these other people who are like, well, why aren't you giving me the glasses like last time? Or why aren't you giving me this? I think people get expecting too much from Disney. They can only do so much. I mean, a cutting board's nice.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was cute. Yeah, I thought it was a cute idea. I thought it was great. Were you able to do wine and food festival during the weekend at all?
No, I don't do that. I've learned my lesson.
I just want to see if I want to see how the crowds were, if there was any like crazy stories.
Yeah, I actually went there on a Saturday morning just to go meet KJ to have something signed, and it was super busy Saturday morning. So I know enough to stay away from there Saturday afternoon. It's insane.
Okay.
Nobody in their right mind goes to Food and Wine on the weekend.
No, God, no. No. And that's why the other parks get so jammed up, though.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there is no real mellow time at Disney anymore. I mean, people ask about it all the time. It's always busy. It's not like it used to be.
Oh, no. There's no downtime anymore. That's why you don't see the deals anymore.
Yeah, and you see people in all these groups all the time asking, like, when's the best time to go when it's mellow? Whenever it's mellow now, they do some sort of rate deal on the rooms, or they promote something, and it gets busy. So they don't really have a downtime anymore.
It just gets full. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's what those great rates are supposed to be for. It used to be like right now, like between September, like after Labor Day and before Halloween, used to be pretty good. In fact, Brian, one of our friends from the show, he actually posted, it had to be a couple of weeks ago. He's like, you guys have got to come down this way because there's like no crowds. Well, then Food and Wine started back up, and bada bing, it's, back to really stinking crazy. And the problem of it is that it causes Epcot to get really, really busy, which is, hey, you know what? That's great. That's fabulous. They have a lot of really good things going on. They've got really great concerts that people have been streaming for recently. But Epcot's also one of our favorite places to go, and it just gets really crowded. That's kind of why we try not to go during Food and Wine, but
Think about how crazy it's about to get. The fact that you've got the 50th anniversary right around the corner. You've got Star Wars opening right around the corner. You'll have all these other major attractions, new restaurants opening up right around the corner, new hotels right around the corner. Like, and I know we all, and I'm sure, Rudy, you talk about it on your show, how is there not, there has to be a fifth gate eventually, because they just don't have the room for people anymore. And as the economy continues to rise, which is a wonderful thing, people are opening up their purse strings even more. And what's happening? They're going on vacations more.
Well, I think the one thing you find now is people are more obsessed with going to the parks. I mean, I've seen in the groups where people go monthly now, which I don't think you ever had that in the past.
No.
So, I mean, you just have these same people going over and over and over again. Then along with the residents with the cheap resident passes, it just fills those parks up. And I'll say the other thing about going on Epcot on the weekend, you usually see the like irresponsible drunks on the weekend as well, which I can't stand. I mean, if you're going to drink responsibly, and don't be an annoyance when you're in the parks.
No one's saying don't get drunk.
But just handle yourself.
Yeah, I mean, just drink like an adult. This is not your local bar.
I just don't know. I just don't know how in the world a person could afford to start at Disney sober. It's just one of those cases. It's like you start sober and then you start. How do you get so inebriated to that point? It's just really crazy.
I think you see a lot of credit cards that are run up really high.
I mean, I've gotten real drunk in Disney. I've fallen asleep on my fair share of benches before, but I think there comes a very fine line of becoming an annoyance and just having a good time. Jessica, Nick, we've all been 3 sheets to the wind, and it's been, but no one's ever I've never gotten into an altercation with somebody. The only time I've ever yelled at somebody in Disney, I was stone cold sober. Yeah,
it's kind of funny. We were talking about the park etiquette. The other thing I noticed lately too is like the people that will stop in the middle of walkways and just congregate drives me crazy.
Oh, see, but they do that all the time though.
Yeah,
it's either the strollers in Magic Kingdom or the drunk crowds in Epcot. So pick your poison.
Yeah. But I saw one family of 6 with strollers right in front of the mine, between the mine train and Friar's Nook.
Okay.
I mean, they were parked dead center, like they measured it.
Just breast to breast right across.
And they were sitting there eating like ice cream. Like there's no reason why anybody should be bothering them. I don't get it.
Well, it's the same thing every time. This is the first year in years that I have not done wine and food and have not done a Halloween party. And every time I'm there, I avoid Germany at night. Because it's just too crazy. Like everybody's like, you're like sardines. And I'm like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. There's no reason to do this. I don't even like your food that much. I'll get my pretzel later.
I'll tell you with the Halloween parties, I hadn't done one in 3 years because they were overselling them.
And, I was there for one. They oversold by 10,000.
Yeah, it's insane. But I figured like this trip is September. All the people ran out in the end of August to get in early. And then people are going to wait until Halloween comes around. And for the middle of September, it was still oversold. It was ridiculous. And so I probably won't ever do it one again. Oh, yeah.
How was it? Oh, besides being oversold.
I can't stand it when you're doing a special event. It should feel like a special event. You should feel like, you're a part of something that's where you don't have large crowds, where you can actually do the rides when you want to. Yeah. And the Halloween party is consistently oversold, and it drives me nuts.
See, and goes back to our original point before, is about not having downtimes. It's at the point where they are literally putting either a race weekend in, extending Halloween parties, extending wine and food. They literally try to squish every date with something to draw. And I get it. You're a business. You're trying, and it works. Absolutely. Like you're saying, I remember going to the Halloween party. My sister got married in Disney in 2011. We went to the Halloween party as an entire family. The longest thing we waited for was because we all dressed up as the 7 dwarfs and my niece was Snow White. And that was the longest thing you waited for. You didn't wait for rides. Now it's like, I'm going to show up at 4:00 when they're changing of the guards, and that's when I can get on all these rides. We went there last year, and I literally used it as, all right, I'm going to just go get candy and just walk around and eat food. Like that's literally all it was, and what you're spending for it is it's not cheap.
Yeah, I think I spent. I mean, it's a lot cheaper when you go in September. I think it was like $80 for the pass holder discount.
Yeah,
but I also did a Moonlight Magic event for DVC.
You were able to, someone finally got you into that?
Of course.
I saw you begging and pleading up to like 3:00 that day to get in.
I was totally not begging or pleading. But yeah, like that event still feels like a VIP event. It's very quiet. You don't see many people. And that's where the Halloween and Christmas parties should be again. Because if you're spending $100, $120 towards Halloween or Christmas, that's a lot of money to pay out for 5 hours of a packed park.
Yeah, I would rather you offer the Halloween every day. or 4 days a week, just to like spread out that difference. I mean, you know, Chris is a big proponent of touring plans. You know, and it's coming to the point where you used to look and see like, oh, yellow was moderate and whatever their color was for light. You actually knew, well, oh, wow, those are really, you know, light crowds. Their light now is what their moderate used to be. Their moderate is now what the heavy used to be. And the heavy is crowds we've never seen before, where you are literally shoulder to shoulder with people the entire time. And it's just, listen, I don't complain because like you, we know cast members, we know the tips and tricks and ways to get around things and just go enjoy yourself. But it is troublesome when I'm hearing people going to Disney for the first time where they haven't been in years, and they're like, yeah, it's great, but it's just too many people. And we thought with this tiered pricing of days, we were going to see a break off. But I think I'm going to use this word, you know, we have a light crowd tonight, so nothing here is going to get clipped on YouTube. But it's becoming a cult. Like it's the new, not like a cult. I know I saw that look Chris gave me.
It's like, what?
Like it's the cool thing to do now. Like the cool thing is, oh, let's go hang out at Disney. When like I remember even a few years ago, you could get those barren days, you know, when you're walking around like, this is crazy. There's nobody in here. Like now you show up for rope drop and there's 3,000 people standing outside, and you're like. And what's
worse is that now at some places, some parks, they will. It's not really rope drop. That, you know, at like say 9 o'clock, if that's when park is supposed to open, they'll start letting people in. You know, 8:30, but they may take them only to a certain point.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And so the problem of it is that, you know, if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I'm going to get there for rope drop, and you're going to get there at 8:45, you're already 15 minutes late and probably, you know, 2,000 people behind. And that's what, I mean, that's what happened. That's why people can't do the most popular attractions of rope drop anymore, because you lose that advantage unless you're there an hour before rope drop.
You really do, and it's ridiculous that you need to do that. I showed up at 8:50, and literally by the time I went through security, I missed the opening show on the stage, and I was like, well, this was just... it was great because that was the only time of a Disney trip where I literally felt alone, because I had just missed it. They sent off those little fireworks, and then everybody ran to go do the rides, and I was like, So I walked into Tomorrowland. I got my Joffrey's coffee, no alcohol, Rudy. And I got my disgusting donut that you call, whatever you called it. I think you called me a degenerate before for getting this donut. And I literally posted up on a table, and I watched people on the racetrack on, the American Speedway. And it was actually so relaxing because it was quiet. It was airy. There was room to look around. And then within an hour and a half, you were like, oh God, kids screaming, throwing up, throwing things at each other. It's always a fun time in Disney.
Yeah, the one thing I've learned is not to use rope drop to get on the first ride, to actually get breakfast somewhere, get the earliest reservation, then you're in the park like 15, 20 minutes before anybody's there.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so we go and be our guest and go right towards the mine train.
See, everybody runs for that ride, and I guess everybody would say it is the premier ride inside Magic Kingdom. I just think those ride vehicles are so uncomfortable.
They're tight. They're definitely tight.
Like there's very few rides in Disney. I'm a little claustrophobic as I got older, but it's one of those rides where I was like, if this ever breaks down, I'm fighting somebody, because I got to find a way to get out of this ride vehicle, because I can't. My legs will go numb, and I'll just want to die. And then that last break, right where they had right at the end, can not only Disney, can all these amusement parks figure out how to properly brake a vehicle? Must we come in at Mach speed and then just lock up the brakes?
I think people love that. I'm definitely not one of those people.
I am not, because how many times I'm talking it was a great ride, boom, headrest.
That's part of the fun, man. I mean,
I have too many concussions.
I mean, if you don't risk serious injury to one extent or another, then
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually did it during the Halloween thing. They did Space Mountain with no lights, and that puts some stress on your body when you don't know when the turns are. Or you're just in there like getting tossed like a rag doll. So
no, I would agree because I think Everest is the same way. Because I remember riding Everest when it first came out, and the park was just never open when it was dark. And then a couple years ago, when you started to see the park staying open later, and when we and Chris went for Avatar, and even like the little bit before that, they had some late night openings for Animal Kingdom. Everest really throws you for a loop when it's completely pitch black the entire time. It's wild.
It throws me for the loop normally.
Yeah, and so now you're blacked out.
But that's also part of the reason why I don't really like Space Mountain anymore, because it's so pitch black and it's become so herky jerky. I can't prepare myself for it. I still love it for the nostalgia, but I can't do it all the time. I walk off of Space Mountain going, oh,
Yeah,
it's bad. But at the same time, I mean,
you still do it.
I still do it. I mean, it's one of those cases, but it's like, I don't mind the drop, but like when you turn, all of a sudden you do like a 90-degree turn type of thing, and it throws you. Yeah. I will tell you this. Disneyland, their Space Mountain, they've got it right. I'm just telling you. Seriously.
So, Rudy, anything else you want to add?
I will say we did the VIP early entrance to Toy Story Land, and nothing that I experienced changed my thinking of Toy Story Land. I wasn't super impressed. I hated the alien saucer spin. The one thing I didn't like either, I was kind of surprised, was during the day, I understand why they did, with all the shrubbery and the grass is kind of overgrown. It's supposed to be like in his backyard, so the toys are stuck in there. When you're waiting in line for rides, you can't see like your surrounding area that well because of the grass and all the trees. So, I wasn't impressed with that area at all. It's beautiful at night, but to me, it felt like it was thrown together last minute and cheesy.
I think they definitely were going. I mean, now granted, I have not been able to experience it yet. Hopefully, very soon. Working on an idea for everybody in March. It looks a little cheesy, definitely geared towards a younger generation. But I said since day one, I hated the fact that they were building Star Wars, because the focus was always going to be at Star Wars. And this was always going to be like, hey, let's just get this over with so we can have those extra guys come over here and work on Star Wars. But
the one thing I did notice, a lot of people complained about the shade. And they are right, because if you looked at all the kids waiting in line for the rides, they all looked like they were boiling and they were all miserable.
Oh God!
And you know what?
It's
and
bad.
The problem of it is that, and you're right. You're not the only person. You're not the first person that has said anything like that. I think that Disney had a real challenge with the aesthetics of that, because otherwise it would be. It wouldn't be Andy's backyard if you kind of enclose things. But at the same time, one person during our last show, they actually made the comment, you got to have, if nothing else, more fans and possibly more misters, misting fans and stuff. And when we were there in June for the soft opening with our friend Chris from the show, they actually had, water stations about every 20 feet, where you can, grab a drink there really quick, which actually was wonderful. It really made a big difference, because it was hotter than the hinges of Hades. But, I could see why they didn't do things. I understand it. I still don't like the heat, but it's Florida. You kind of have to just get used to it. So go figure.
I mean, they did do an amazing job with the theming. Like, I don't want to seem like I'm totally negative on it, because I did enjoy my time there. Like the level of detail with all the games and stuff. And I noticed, like, in the walkways, you could see Andy's giant footprint. So, I mean, all that stuff was really cool. But it was definitely a stopgap just to keep people happy till Star Wars opens.
I think they really needed it, because they were seeing a major decline in that park. They shut way too much down and closed off way too much too quickly. But Rudy, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody, where they can find you, your show name, and all that good stuff. Oh boy. So
definitely go check us out at the Crazy for Disney group and the Crazy for Disney podcast.
Let's see if we hide him for a second and try to bring him back up.
He was just fine.
You see him right now?
I see him right now. Yeah. So it's
me again.
Do you really? Do you hear him?
Yes.
Oh boy.
It's something with Danny, isn't it?
Let me know when he's done talking.
He's done talking.
Is it?
Yeah.
Chris, he's a black screen to me.
What else?
I don't hear nothing. I don't say. So, Rudy, I'll do this. This is much better. This is how I usually feel when I talk to you. It's just a wall, because that's like the level of, intellectual conversation I could have with you. So, but on that final jab, I just want to say, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your night. There's a football game on. You want to watch that. So we do appreciate it. And once again, I will do it live on air, and I'm only going to do it because I can't see you or hear you. Thank you for putting out that post today to help, get some more likes, some more votes for us to win that award. We really do appreciate that. And we hope to have you on again real soon. And tell your wife I still think she's a saint for marrying you. And maybe next time you come on the show, wear a hat. I'll leave it at that. Chris, anything else you want to say to him?
I knew this was going to be an interesting conversation between you two, and if I would have bet myself, I would be winner chicken dinner. But we'll just leave it at that. Rudy, it's always good seeing you, man. I mean, it's kind of
thank you guys.
It's just here's the thing: we can have fun as Disney podcasters, even though our shows are different. We have different audiences. It's just kind of interesting to talk once in a while like this. And what can I tell you? I know we're gonna probably have our mutual friend Jimmy on the show sometime in the near future, but we've actually got some other future Thursdays things set up here relatively soon. It's going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I would like to say real quick before I go is, guys, get out there and vote for the Be Live competition. They definitely deserve it. This is a great show, and they're definitely a couple of great guys.
Okay, so you actually really, Danny, you don't know when he's not talking, huh? Oh, he's actually listening to the show in the background. You can't hear me. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to play this little thing.
I don't know if anybody's still talking. I don't know when anybody's talking.
You're okay. Well, I'm gonna play this. You heard the show, and we hope you want more. Well, feel free to join us over at our social media platforms. Instagram and our Facebook page can be found at Behind the Ears Podcast. Our webpage is behindtheearspodcast.net, and our email is behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. And our Twitter handle is @BehindTheEarsPC. And come and join the conversation about all things Disney over at the WDW community page. Don't forget to rate and review the show over at iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as it really helps us get the word out about the show. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or the Podbean app. Also, you can listen to us on Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and via Alexa and Google Home. Well, Danny is actually sitting there trying to figure out when he's going to be able to talk. So I'm just going to actually go ahead and...
I don't know if I should be talking.
Wow, technical glitch at the end of the show.
I'm not sure.
So
I'm just going to start talking. Thank everybody for joining us here on another episode of Behind the Ears Podcast. I am Uncle Danny. I really hope I did not just cut off Mr. Chris. Once again, we want to thank Rudy from Crazy for Disney Podcast. Head on over to the Crazy for Disney Podcast Facebook page and give them a like. They were raising money, and I believe their goal is still not hit yet, raising money for the Cancer Society of America. So please try to help them reach that goal. I will be messaging Rudy on the side to share that out on our page. So once again, we want to thank Rudy for joining us here. And Chris, I hope that you're still there because I can't hear anything. So with that being said, I am Uncle Danny. I'm going to count to 15 when I stop talking. So at 15, I'm ending the show. So Chris, make sure you're ready and you're done. So I am Uncle Danny. Thank you all for joining us here on Behind the Ears Podcast. I hope you all have a wonderful and safe weekend. I'll see you over the weekend, guys. Have a good one.
Gotta love technical difficulties be under control. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. And by all means, we hope that you have an absolutely fantastic and magical day. And we cannot wait to bring you another show next week. Have a great one. Take care.